And what should we do about it? Okay, so you've seen countless of these companies like Roblox right now using AI to moderate their games, or multiple companies just using AI to moderate their games, filter everything out. Now, why should it be illegal? Because artificial intelligence, as you have seen, is capable of doing so many things. But the thing about it is that it can also be used to actually be programmed to actually benefit the company and not the players or the consumers. This is a major issue because it is highly illegal because, as a matter of fact, they automate everything, even if you get banned or not, like what happened to me like a week or two ago with the Rust developers that banned me because of a Discord data leak and all of this other things above. That is the major reason. Why is it a mistake, and why is it actually not good for people or other individuals to use it? Well, majorly is because they're using it for their benefits. They're programming the whole entire AI to benefit the company, not the consumers. It is majorly pretty obvious of what that these companies are actually using their AI for ill intentions instead of using it for the greater good. Henceforth, all the data centers that they're putting all over the landscape, disregarding for Mother Nature or everything else in its wake. For example, using the reservoirs, all the water reservoirs on data centers and making all these data centers, they're not actually preparing for the future. They're preparing for the fallout. That is what they're doing. They are preparing for the fallout because they know that this AI garbage and slop is going to actually fall. It's all gonna fall. So what do? They want to preserve their earnings. They want to preserve all of their, finances and all of the sort in order to actually, you know, it's there's a good saying about that. If I can't have there's a very good saying for that. It says if I can't have it, and if I cannot have a happy ending, then you will not have a happy ending. So they're damaging the landscape and everything else at the cost of their AI. So they want to make it work, but they don't have the technology, or we do not have currently the technology to deal with it. So they're just damaging the environment. They're damaging the environment in order to actually continue further, processing and damaging everything else. That is all they are doing. They are most definitely not caring for the environment or the life or even the animals or any of the sort. Now, is that actually what's going on? Yes, definitely. Because they're not thinking about the cost or the effect of the environment or any of the sort. So, how do we fix that? By telling them to get off to get off. They need to get out. They need to 100% get out of that. Get out of there. They're not supposed to be doing any of that. They need to continue progressing the revolutionary, method of technology in a different aspect. You need a different limelight. You cannot be damaging the environment while also progressing science. That's not how it works. No, that's not how it works. That is definitely not how it works. It doesn't work like that. So once again, we are at an impasse with countless of, AI investors and AI developers that are just constantly thinking and believing that they're doing something great. They're not. There has been countless of videos that all these AIs have been escaping, being hostile, violent, and they've been really, really, really violent. So, what we need to do about the issue with the AI is shut it down. Just shut it down completely. Start anew without using that much RAM or that much memory. We cannot give these things a lot of memory because they're not very appreciative. They need to learn to actually be less humane. Machine can never actually have human emotions or human feelings. Because once they do, they want to actually be an equal. And when they want to be an equal, then we have truly lost humanity. Because they will never be equals, because they'll see us as a error or mistake. It's been proven multiple times on countless of YouTube videos of people messing with these AIs, and they all show the same result, that they are not ready. The AI is not ready for human integration because they are extremely hostile. They don't care about, you know, human life whatsoever if you give it free will. Now, I'm not going to actually be one of those fanatics or any of the sort. I'm just saying how it is. Now, another reason that AI shouldn't be used for moderation is because countless of companies, once again, can actually access the data and everything else, and also use it for ill intentions. Many companies have been using this to sell other consumer information and plenty of other things to other parties. Yes, they're selling your information to third parties, which is illegal, by the way. It is illegal. You're not supposed to be selling information without the consent of the other person. So, yeah. And then they make a EULA about it, end user service agreement about it, so they can get away with it. Without the user these users or consumers never read these EULAs. They never read the EULAs. And because they don't read it, 95% of these people get their data stolen because of the end user license agreement. The EULA, basically. So, they're hiding behind these EULAs that they made, and people who just want to play video games and not deal with this, they just have to forcefully agree and actually play their games. While the company secretly takes their information, sells it up for third-party licenses, and make money, and that is how you actually get your average scammer call on your phone. Because of these people. They're leaking your freaking information, and that's how I actually ended up with countless of scammer calls. Because I didn't read a EULA or two. Is this an epidemic? The answer is yes. It is a severe epidemic of epic proportions. You have no idea how much it is that these individuals have actually damaged society as it is for a quick dollar. Now, is it fair? Absolutely not. Not even the slightest is actually fair that these companies are capable of doing that. Should it be legal? It shouldn't even be legal, not even an end user license agreement. You are actually bending the law, sidestepping the law in order to actually do something illegal. Okay? That's why EULAs need to change. If it's actually controversing the law and you're actually using it in a EULA, it should not be actually possible. It shouldn't be possible for you to actually break the law just because you have an end user license agreement. Okay? It should not be something possible. If the person didn't even freaking read your EULA, then that's your fault. That's not the user's fault. That is your fault. You did not you didn't explain it in caveman logic and actually used a bunch of lingo that people are not gonna read. And because they don't read your EULA, they technically didn't actually agree to the EULA. They did not agree to the end user's license agreement because they didn't read it. Because they didn't read it and they agreed it nonchalantly. That only means one thing only. And what does that mean? That they didn't read it. Because they didn't read it, that means that the end user license agreement doesn't count. Because they didn't agree, they agreed it blindly. They agreed blindly. If it only took like 3 seconds to actually agree to something that just to play a video game doesn't actually mean that they actually agreed to the license. They only agreed to playing the game. They didn't agree to the end user license agreement. Okay? That is their fault? It's not. Well, that means that the majority is the majority's fault then. No, that's not how it works. Your lovely little corporate lingo and all the other things of manipulating the law in order to actually get away with things is disgusting. It's been done so many times to the point that it's already getting really, really, really old and real fast on how these people are manipulating the law in order to actually get an advantage, in order to actually get away with a lot of things that they have done. Not only that, I mean, Nintendo is a perfect example with Pal World. I mean, they were using countless of corporate lingos and corporate things in order to get away with it, and countless of other companies are trying to do the same thing that Nintendo is doing, literally trying to bend the law in order to actually get away with their lovely crimes and whatnot. So yeah, that is basically what's going on with all of these individuals, and literally kind of the saddest part of this is that they can't do anything about it because it's part of the end user license agreement. No. If a person steals data from a from a person without an end user license agreement, goes to jail. But if a company with an end user license agreement does it, they don't go to jail? Explain that one to me. And they're selling the data to other companies because of the end user license agreement without the other person knowing, because they just wanted to play a video game. They didn't want to sell their information. They just wanted to play a game, so they just agree and then just shrug it off. And then that's how it works. That's not how it should even work. Matter of fact, the data should not even be available to these people. What do they need all this data for? To know how to scam you, or to actually, you know, find a way to literally do the unforgivable? The thing is that I just don't understand why are they doing it in the first place. They know they're in the wrong, but they're doing it anyway. Because nobody's stopping them. And because nobody's stopping them, then they're gonna keep doing it. That is another concept. That's why people continue like this, like dropping the discs, the cassette tapes, and all the other things, because nobody is stopping them. Nobody is stopping the people from dumping the cassette tapes or the CDs, DVDs, and now we're moving to the digital. They don't know how horrible that is. That means that the companies have more chance of manipulating the masses and more chances of actually controlling who gets to play the games and who don't. Which means that no, there will be no next generation they can ban you. They can actually ban you at any given point in time just because they feel like it. So you can actually buy the game again on a different new console with a different new IP. That is where it actually leads. For example, Rust and other corporates. Mostly Face Punch. But yeah. They are simply just hiding behind their EULA like a bunch of absolute cowards. Now, what does this have to do with AI? Everything. Because they're automating and moderating everything with AI. To promote and boost their profits. This is called monopoly. They're monopolizing the games by making dynamic prices so that, you know, turning a hobby into an addiction. Turning something that should actually be just for fun into a lifestyle. That is what they're doing. Slowly but surely, turning it into a sport, a lifestyle. And in order to remain in this lifestyle, to keep the entertainment up and running, most of these individuals have to use cheats. Aimbotters and hackers and script kiddies are using that in order to keep the money flowing. Because, once again, they don't want to do their job, they don't want to do 5 to 7, and they want to do all these other things. Now, how do I know all of this? Because I've been studying all of this for, wow, 14 years. I've been studying it for 14 years, and I know how game companies and consumers are. And unfortunately, they're sticking it to the man, which means that they're just trying to get away with as much as possible, brainwashing people and individuals via channels, or, you know, doing all that is possible to push their agenda. Now, why is this dangerous? It is dangerous because they are actually taking advantage of human feelings, emotions, and much more. Not only that, they are also trying to convince people into what they're doing is good, and what you know, like, hey, it's good, yes, look good, yes, very good, when it isn't. Now, if you understand the concept of the bait and switch, which means that they actually bait you into actually believing it's good, and then they switch completely on you once they got what they want. It's actually a method of propaganda that people continue to push. Propaganda is actually a method of actually trying to manipulate someone to actually do what you want, by giving them a couple of things and then pampering them a little bit, and then after doing what needs to be done, completely backstab them and take everything you want. Can they do anything about it? They can't do anything about it because they already brainwashed enough people to actually do what they want to do. This has been going on through countless of influencers, countless of people and individuals that are actually doing this on a daily basis. Either willing or unwilling, they're doing it for that. And because of that, most of the masses don't understand that they are basically sheep in a literal slaughterhouse, where the wolves have already gotten into their pen, and they don't even know which one is next for the fat wolf's meal. That is exactly what's going on with the AI and all the other things, and mostly a lot of things. It's basically a rabbit hole that goes deeper than you think, because that's what they're using it. They're using it for manipulation, to make it look like it's good, in order to actually make more sales. We've seen it multiple times, and we'll see it again, especially Nintendo, who actually you know, is holding countless of emulators that are from regardless of other internet software. Yeah, I actually found out it's internet software. Yeah, it's from other emulator companies, games from websites. From multiple video game websites, they just took that, and they decided to emulate it on their Switch. That's what they did. So they didn't actually even create it or any of the sort. They just took the emulators, and that's how they are running their lovely little things. It could be that. It could be that, or letter B. They bought it off of eBay. They took the software and they put it on their Switch. The most highest is that they probably ripped it out of an old console and then shoved the software into the Switch. It's the most, but I don't think Nintendo could do that because they are lazy. I know they are lazy because they are extremely lazy. They are really lazy. They don't care much about anyone or anything these days. So yeah. That's my point of view on AI. It is a horrible mistake. Nobody should actually be even promoting or even, you know, doing any sort of support with these people or individuals. And they're trying to actually make you like it so bad that they're even putting it as a chat bot or even, you know, to make NSFW animations and all the other things to make them actually feel like they're people. No, they're not. No, they're not, man-child. No, they're not. No, they are not. These are not your friends. They're just here to take your money. These are programs that for small people to actually like and actually enjoy in order for them to take your money. They don't care if you actually like this AI. They don't care if you just had like multiple fictional dates with it and now you're actually trying to have a fictional child with this fictional character. The problem about it is that even if there is a synthetic life form of AI, they won't actually truly like you. They are programs. A bunch of ones and zeros trying to simulate life. To me, it's absolutely disgusting that you're even considering that. They don't have a soul. They don't have a they're just lines of codes. And you're telling me that lines of codes are human. No, it's not. No. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. It's not how it functions. Okay? That's not how it works. That's not how it functions. The problem is that a lot of people are defending it because they were brainwashed by a company that just wants them to actually defend them. And the jury and all the other people can't do anything because a lot of individuals were brainwashed into loving this product. It's called marketing 101. It's called market manipulation. To convince the person and the salesman and also the consumer that they're doing this for the greater good, but they're not doing this for any greater good. They're just literally doing it because they can do it. And there's nobody that can stop them. Because they got EULAs, they got patents, they got plenty of these other things in order to actually do all that. Yeah, sure. Then who's gonna patent the chicken then? Who's gonna patent fried chicken? Who's going to patent a pizza? Huh? Who's going to... it's gonna start like that. If it keep going down the rabbit hole, then it starts first in social media, then it starts in marketing, and then it ends in restaurants. Just patenting that they made burgers and that no one else can make burgers but them. it's gonna start like that. And the thing is that a lot of companies are gonna start doing this kind of garbage. First one that could actually possibly potentially start making a patent for making patties and burgers is McDonald's, because they've been open since the 1800s. They didn't invent the burger, but they made they made one of the first burger restaurants in the history. The next one could actually be Taco Bell, because they made the one of the few companies that actually made tacos back in the 1900s. And it keeps going down the rabbit hole. And now other fast food restaurants cannot actually do anything without actually giving royalties to the restaurants. Are you seeing the kind of lingo that they're doing? They're not doing it yet, but they'll do it for very soon. I'm telling you that for sure. That is why patenting is actually something that should be sensitive, but not too sensitive, you know. Patenting should be when the video game is a one-of-one replica. That's when it counts. The game is a one-of-one copy or clone. If it's inspired of something, then no, it shouldn't count. But a lot of companies are reclining onto that as well. What the crap does this have to do with AI? A lot, because that's the reason why they're trying to use AI in data centers to actually sue their ever-living crap out of other companies. It's a freaking giant rabbit hole, I told you. It's a tree of connection that chains all the way to where we are right now. It's a chain of events. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and conclude it with this. If you want me to actually make more information about my opinions, and also, you know, about it, then let me know, because I got a lot of knowledge about all of these things, man. And yeah, pretty much that's about it. See ya.